Michael Vigil is a former chief of international operations for the Drug Enforcement Administration, and he joins us now from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Thank you for speaking to Al Jazeera today. Trump says one of the reasons why he slapped high tariffs on China, Mexico and Canada is fentanyl. But do you think that's really what's at play here?
Well, the thing is that the fentanyl situation here in the United States has been dropping, and it started to drop in 2023 under President Biden. As a matter of fact, it went from 114,000 overdose deaths to include fentanyl, and it dropped 27%. Seizures at the southern border with Mexico have also dropped under the Biden administration 20%. Donald Trump and his cabinet really don't understand the complexity of precursor chemicals, the chemical industry, how it operates at a global level. Because most people, including him, don't understand that there's over 3,100 chemicals that can be used to manufacture fentanyl analogs. And many of the precursors also have widespread legitimate use in medicine, cosmetics, and other industries, making a complete ban or a strict global control unfeasible without disrupting legal commerce. China controls 45% of the chemical and pharmaceutical industry in the world. It's a $1.9 trillion industry for them. They do have a robust regulation system. However, the industry is so huge, they're not going to be able to control it. And let's say even if they did, that would shift to India, which is already sending precursor chemicals, for example, to the cartels in Mexico that manufacture most of the fentanyl that comes into the United States.
Mm-hmm. So if Donald Trump does strike a deal with Xi Jinping on Thursday, do you expect that to translate to the flow of fentanyl enforcement officers seen on the streets in the US? And if so, how quickly?
I don't think it's going to have any impact because China in May of 2019 basically controlled the production of finished fentanyl and its analogs. We salute China for that, but the problem is that it's shifted to precursor chemicals. And the problem is at the global level that legal controls vary significantly from country to country. This fragmentation allows criminal networks to obtain chemicals from countries with weaker regulation. So it's not going to stop. And unfortunately, Trump does nothing to reduce the demand for fentanyl and other illicit drugs.
That's an interesting point you make there, because China has said that the problem is actually the demand in the US for fentanyl.
Absolutely. And the problem is that Donald Trump has not taken any steps to reduce the demand through drug education and other measures, even treatment. So it's not going to do any good for China to regulate these precursor chemicals even more if we still have the demand, because the basic law of economics says as long as you have the demand, there's always going to be individuals or companies that are going to satisfy that demand.
And I suppose many critics of Trump's policy on this is also the healthcare system and the support for those that have addictions. Now, I just want to shift the focus here to the US carrying out these attacks on boats that Trump claims are carrying fentanyl from Venezuela. You mentioned Mexico there, but in your experience, is that a major trafficking route? And is Trump's massive military deployment to the waters there an effective way of dealing with it?
Absolutely not, because what Donald Trump is doing is he's blowing up these go-fast boats, but he has presented absolutely no evidence that they were carrying drugs. Secondly, he said that it was the Tren de Aragua, for example, that was shipping those drugs. The Tren de Aragua does not engage in the transportation of drugs. They do engage in the distribution. Now, these boats coming from Venezuela or even Colombia do not carry fentanyl. There is no fentanyl coming from Venezuela or even Colombia. It's cocaine. So he doesn't even understand that. But killing these people, civilians, is, here in the United States, it's against the law. It's murder. The international law, it's a crime, a war crime. So Donald Trump is killing these individuals without any justification. And the problem is that what he's doing is not going to have an impact on the flow of drugs, because even if they were carrying drugs, these are low-level people. They're not major drug traffickers, but he does nothing to work with Mexico to basically attack the infrastructure of the major cartels.
Understood. So it's a chain there, and he seems to be targeting the smaller fish, if you like, rather than the bigger fish. Thank you very much, Michael Vigil, speaking to us, a former international operations for the Drug Enforcement Administration.